Kia ora everybody, welcome to the podcast. This is Creative Curiosity. I'm your host. My name is Haunui Tuna. My fifth guest today. I'm super grateful. This is my first guest done over Zoom too, by the way. Super talented musician, really down to earth person, just from what I've seen online and on Instagram and stuff. Her name is Jaedyn Randell, and I'm super grateful. Jaedyn, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no, this is my pleasure, and thank you again for making some time to jump on the podcast. And I'm excited to hear your story, as I'm sure a lot of people are as well. I got a few comments from people saying, especially one in particular, saying there's a video of you and your kapa on YouTube that she watches all the time. So I thought, yeah, you're another one. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So just know that there are some people who are excited about this, hearing your story. So let's, if you just want to take a bit of time to just talk about your background, your upbringing, and then we'll just go from there.
Cool, sweet as. Kia ora everybody. Ko hapua kohe ko taupiri o kumanga, ko mangawara ko waikato o kuawa, ko tainui te waka, ko Ngāti Pāwa ko waikato o kuiwi, ko Ngāti Makirangi, ko Ngāti Whawhākea o kuhapu, ko Waiti, ko Kaitumutumu o kumarae, ko Jaedyn Randell tōki ingoa. Kia ora.
Man, like already feeling it. Kia ora, Jaedyn. For you, what was your upbringing like, and where did you grow up? And if you can just talk a little bit about all
So
that.
I was born in Tokoroa. I only lived there for a very small amount of my life, probably a few weeks even, before we went up to Hamilton, and I was raised there. I did all my schooling there, kohanga reo, all the way to high school. And now I am in Wellington studying for my degree. So yeah.
Tokoroa, and I just want to share a little funny story about Tokoroa, but I remember going there, and we dropped off one of our principals there, who became the principal at Forest View, I think.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, over there. But that was my first memory of Tokoroa.
Oh, cool.
And so you're a musician, and you love singing, obviously. Like, I'm sure everybody who follows you is super grateful for like you sharing your gifts and all that.
Oh, thank you.
And like growing up for you, was music always big in your fellas' whānau and like in your fellas' household?
Yeah, definitely. So I've been singing and performing ever since I could talk. So I want to say about 3 years old, or that's what my mum thinks anyway. And I was lucky enough to grow up with some of my cousins that are similar ages to me. So there was 4 of us who are quite similar in age. So we kind of put on concerts, put on shows for our whānau. I think my koro really nurtured that musical environment. He'd always play for us. I think he really instilled that passion and that fire for music within all of us. So yeah, I'm very grateful for him, and especially still nurturing it now, 18 years down the track. So yeah.
I saw a post too, like, and it was a photo of you and your koro, and your koro looks super young still.
I think he's about 64.
Man, he looks real good. And I saw too, like in your one of your other posts, and it was your nan saying words, and you had to sing like a song to do with that word. I thought that was super cool too, and I just bring that up because like we were pretty much raised by our nan as well.
Yeah.
And like my siblings and I, we pretty much, like whenever we say nan, you know, you have different like nans and koros and that.
Yeah.
And you have like nanny, blah, 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 and koro, blah, blah, blah. Well, our nan, she's just nan. And if we just say nan, we already know which nan we're talking.
Yeah, same as us, yeah. I get you.
Yeah, it's funny. Eh? And also too, like I can relate to you and like the singing and all that as a kid. I remember my parents, like when we would practice for talent quests and stuff, and they would make us sing out in the shed with like hairbrushes, there's microphones. Did you do any of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, same as us. And we thought we were like royal family dancers and everything. Costumes.
Man, there's like my nan, I don't know if your nan or koro were the ones who always like took photos or took videos.
Yes, while I've been here, I've been helping Nan sort through all of our photos, and there are so many. But it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, hard out. Like every time we go to our nans, we always like look through the photos, and then you just go straight back to those times in your life.
Yeah.
And what was there for you? Like, what was like that? What was the first song you learnt, and one that you just could not get enough of?
Ooh. I think from what my mum tells me, I think it was it would have been one of the songs from Lilo and Stitch, probably. I loved that movie growing up. It's all I watched. I had cardboard cutouts of Lilo everywhere. Gosh. So it would have been those, but when I can remember, like as a more growing kid, I can't remember what it's called, but it's that song, "You've been the sun out to my life." My mum taught me that, and that was the first song. Yeah.
Man, speaking of Lilo and Stitch, I remember because did you go watch it at the movies, or how? Because you're 18. I'm trying to think how old I was. I remember going to the movies to watch it by myself, and I only went to watch it by myself because I had to wait for my mum. And the bit when Stitch, when you think Stitch dies,
Yeah.
very far, I actually almost cried, and I had a hoodie on too. I was like, "What the hell?"
Crack up. Yeah. Oh, wow, that's a good movie if it can make you feel that.
Oh, hell yeah. And I remember that was like the first time in my life where I was just like, shit, I'm going to cry in public.
Yeah. Oh, that's me all the time. I'm terrible with movies.
Yeah. And so going back to like your childhood, what are some of the like significant lessons you remember growing up from your nan and koro?
I think mostly from my koro, it was just to always work hard, and always just believe and stay true to who I am, and that's for everyone. So they taught me that. My mum taught me a lot of lessons, because she was always there, so she saw it all. And I think the most significant, what always comes to my mind is just, to stay true to who I am. And as long as I know my whakapapa and I know who I am, that's all that matters. So, yeah.
Couldn't agree more with that. And I'm just thinking about like the relationship between mokos and like nannies and koros and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like why it's how it's just like a different connection, like a connection with your parents. And like why do you think that is?
I don't know. I feel like my whole life koro has just always like bestowed his wisdom within all of us, and I don't know, he's just got such a contagious personality, so I feel like I'm always learning something from him every day. I don't really know the answer to that.
That's same here. It's one of those things like I think that's a good question for anybody listening too, like thinking about the relationship between you and your kuia karaua, and like what is it about that makes it so special,
Yeah.
So moving on to your high school years, because for me personally, especially my last year of high school, was one of the best years of my life. Like how was your whole high school experience, and which high school did you go to anyway?
I went to Hamilton Girls High School. I loved it there. Copious amount of opportunities for anyone. So that's awesome. I loved high school. I think that's definitely where I found myself and my hobbies, interests, passions, all of that stuff. I was the kid who always wanted to be involved in everything. I wanted to give everything a go. So I played a little bit of touch. I did choir, barbershop, pretty much everything performing arts that I was in there. I did talent quests, everything. It just really helped having all of those options, and giving them all a go. It helped me realize what I really wanted to do and what direction I really wanted to head in. And I think the most significant thing in that time was definitely kapahaka. I trialed, my first year was 2014, year 9, and then finished up in 2018. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about te ao Māori. It's really cool.
Yeah, I was pretty much the same. Like I remember, when was it? which year was it? 2008, and we went to Kapahaka Nationals down in Wellington.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I went to Whakatane High School. I went to Rotorua Boys for a couple of years, but went to Whakatane High School after that. And I remember that trip was like literally one of the best trips of my life. Yeah. And I think like we're lucky, like Māori kids who get to do kapahaka and who have kapahaka kura, because you get to hang out with your mates at school and then in the weekends, and then you go on trips together. And like from your like kapahaka experience, what was like one of the standout like experiences for you?
So every second year, I think, we would go overseas for a cultural exchange. And when I was year 10, so 2015, we went to Hawaii and LA just to do a cultural exchange with the Indigenous peoples and that's the kind of stuff. And that was really awesome. I think that was definitely a highlight, just to relate to them in that way and to see how similar but how different we are in our cultures as well. And we also got to perform at Disneyland in LA, so that was really cool.
Man, that's crazy. And before you had gone on those trips, had you been like overseas and all that before?
I think I had only been to Australia. So yeah.
Far out. And like to do that with your mates as well, I'm sure that would have been special.
It was awesome.
Like in terms of like Hawaii, because my partner, she loves Hawaiians, and like one of her dreams, we were going to do it this year actually, is to go to Mary Monarch.
Oh yeah.
And so from your time in Hawaii, like what was probably one of the biggest like similarities you found between them and Māori?
I think the manakitanga is really similar. The language is sometimes quite similar. And I don't know, just the kind of people they are and their values and morals and stuff seem to be quite similar to us, and their love for their culture.
Yeah, I think that's something that we've all come to know, especially like last year with like Mauna Kea and like Ihumato and stuff. So I think it's been one of those things that's helped tie us all together.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and so anyway, let's jump to the elephant in the room, which is you voicing moana, and you know that's obviously something huge, and you know moana for Polynesian people, you know, it was like the first time for all of us to see ourselves represented in a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially like on the world stage. So like, can you walk us through that whole process? Like, before you even getting an audition, how did you even find out about it? Because I'd never heard about any of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, all good. So I'll take it back a little bit. So for the original Moana, I actually auditioned for it. You had to be 14, but I was 13, and I was like, oh, let's just try it. Let's just do it. Unsuccessful, but I tried, so that's okay.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. And then when I went to Hawaii that time, we went to Kamehameha High School, I think it is. Yeah, and we did the cultural exchange there. And I actually met Auli'i, the original Moana, before she was Moana.
What?
We were talking and stuff. Yeah, I know. She's a lovely, lovely girl. Very talented. And, you know, she didn't know she was Moana. I didn't know I was going to be Moana. So it's just crazy that our paths aligned like that.
Hard out.
Yeah, but anyway, I just want to share that because I think it's so cool.
Anything related.
Yeah. But for Māori Moana, I saw a video on Facebook. Well, actually, no, my mum saw the video on Facebook of Taika and Rachel House kind of just putting the call out there. Looking for a Māori Moana, send in a song of you singing How Far I'll Go and a little bit of a script that they provided for you. So my mum sent it to me on Messenger and said, give this a look. I was like, okay. And then, I was like, okay, let's just do it. Let's give it a go. I auditioned. I sent in my video on my 16th birthday. And then about a week and a half later, we got a Skype call. And it was so like nerve-wracking because I turned on the Skype and Taika's right there. And I was like, already nervous. Yeah. And he's like, how are you? just like, what the heck?
No warning.
Yeah, and me and Mum, we were both sitting in the frame, and we're just looking at each other like, oh my gosh, okay. And then they kind of just told us, and I was just trying to like, okay, be cool,
Yeah.
cool. Like, thank you so much, and then the phone hung up, and I was like, oh my gosh, just freaking out. But yeah, so that was that, the announcement, the audition process and stuff like that. And literally probably about a week and a half again after that call, I was up in Auckland recording. So it was like a very, very, very fast process. I think we had about, in total, 2 weeks of dialogue recording. And
wow, really? That's real quick.
Yeah, and I think about 3 days of the music recording. Yeah, so there, yeah, that was that whole process.
Man, because one of the things I want to get into, like one day, is into filmmaking, and
cool.
like that Skype you did with Taika Waititi, I could only imagine like how hard it would have been to just like be yourself and just talk.
Yeah, I was just stuttering everything. I was like, oh, that is so embarrassing. But
and like for that, because that's not like a thing that's easy, or that I think would be easy, like to audition and to do all that stuff. Like, did you do like auditions and all that? Had you been into that sort of space before when you were younger?
No, it was my first time. For auditioning, I was kind of always, I'm quite a shy person. It doesn't always come across because I'm really comfortable in my home.
Yeah.
But out there, I can be quite shy at times, and I wouldn't really put myself out there too much in terms of the acting kind of thing. But when I was year 11, I auditioned for our musical.
Oh, yeah, which was it?
Oh, it was Grease. Yeah, it was so fun. It was awkward because I hadn't done it before. I was a bit uncomfortable, but it was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, the best. Who were you in it?
Sandy.
Oh, of course. Like, this is blimmin' hilarious because I was Danny Zuko.
Oh, were you?
2009. That was part of the reason my last year at high school was the best.
Oh, cool.
Shit, that's funny.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that about you.
Yeah.
And, it was funny, like wearing all those costumes and like being transported back in time.
Yeah, and all these wigs and stuff, and they're like touching your face, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those quick changes. Wow, that's interesting. Like,
yeah.
You've just taken me back to like one of the best times in my life. So
okay.
I like that you know what it was like to do that whole like process of doing Grease and all that.
Yeah.
And another thing I wanted to ask you too, like, because had you met, because I heard you say that you did the recording and all that with Rob Lowe.
Yes.
Had you met him before that?
I hadn't, no. How we all met up at this conference room, went around the circle. I was starstruck again,
yeah, of
sitting
course.
in the same room as me, listened to him growing up. So it was crazy. But man, he's such an amazing man. He knows so much, and just by sitting with him and listening to him, even if he's not talking to you, you're still learning a lot. And yeah, he was very nurturing, and because I was so nervous, he made me feel very comfortable. And we're still in contact today, and he still helps me out quite a bit with my music stuff in terms of my visions and all of that stuff. So it's been cool to have those relationships still.
Yeah, hard out. That's probably one of the biggest things about doing, being a creative, is like making all those connections and like on a whole nother level when it's people that you look up to.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever been taught or like learned how to like deal with how to interact with like your idols?
No. The only thing is my mum is just stay calm. Just breathe, girl. It's okay. So my mum, she's been such a huge mentor in my life. So she's kind of taught me everything I know, but I feel like you can't really prepare yourself for that. Well, personally, anyway, I think if my mom's go, okay, you're going to meet Rob Lowe, just stay cool, I was still go in there and freak out. Because, you can be like, okay, when I get in this situation, I'll act like this, but really sometimes that's not the case.
Yeah, hard out.
So I think no matter how much training preparation, I still would have probably been an egg. Nah.
I hear you on that too.
Yeah.
And because a couple of months ago, I did a podcast with Charles Williams. I don't know if you know him, but he's an artist, and he's an artist that I've looked up to like for over half my life. And like being able to sit there with him and do a podcast, which would have been like recording, the same thing as you did.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, like I feel like breaking down, but I have to look like I'm all right on the surface.
Crack up. I feel you.
Yeah, hard out. And like in that whole process too, like when you're doing all the recording and that, what was your time like with Rachel House? Because she's somebody that I really, really look up to as well.
Yeah, another amazing woman, another amazing role model. She was so kind and created that safe space for me, because when you're recording in a room and there's only you in the room, but everyone can see you and everyone can hear you, it was really awkward at the start. And because I'm already nervous and don't know what I'm doing, I was just really like feeling the pressure a little bit.
Yeah.
But she really reassured me, and she taught me kind of techniques to overcome that nervousness and to also portray my feelings through a screen, because they're not seeing your face.
Yeah.
So it's all in your voice, all in how you have to really put yourself in the mood. And she taught me all of those techniques and also how to come out of those moods quickly, because you need a switch.
Yeah.
But just so amazing, and just I think overall just so kind and easy on me. She was never hard on me. Just always encouraging, reassuring, all of that stuff.
Man, that's amazing. And like I feel like I'm living it through you, because I'm like nervous.
I was too.
And so like, what have you learned from? So, there's all these people you look up to, like Taika Waititi, Rob Lowe, Rachel House, and you've met them, and they're super, super amazing people and like down to earth.
Yeah.
Has that taught you, like, for other people that you look up to, and like when you eventually meet them, has it taught you how to sort of go about interacting with them?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the most important things that they taught me without intentionally teaching me is that they are still human.
Yeah.
No matter what they do, all of their achievements, as amazing as they are, they still believe within themselves that they're just normal people. So that's really cool. But obviously, if I were to interact with someone, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, you're just normal." But I think it's definitely not. But it's easier to kind of understand them a little bit more. If that makes sense. I don't know if that even made sense, but yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. And that's sort of how I approach it, because for me, like when I see people that I really look up to and respect, I think that's the biggest thing is like you just respect them so much. You don't want to, waste their time or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's, you want to not just go there just to like take stuff from them. You want to go there and like turn up like, oh, like, because you're giving me so much, I just want to turn up for you and like, deliver.
Yeah, definitely.
And so like in their whole Moana experience, because I couldn't imagine what it would have been like. So like once you fellas had done everything, and then it got to the time when like the movie was rolling out in theatre, because it was all in select theatres, eh?
Yes.
So what was that like with all your mates? I'm sure they would have been like hyping you up, and they would have been singing all your praises and your whānau as well. What was that whole like time and experience like?
It was crazy. Not what I'm used to, definitely. And I'm someone who likes to keep to myself a lot. So I didn't tell anyone. The only one who knew was my mum, because she was always driving me back and forth from Auckland and sitting in the studios for hours with me. Oh, love my mum. Anyway,
shout out, mum.
Yeah, shout out to my mum. I didn't tell them at all. They found out through the interview announcing it on Maori Television.
Oh, what?
Because they wanted to keep it, a secret. So it's such a big surprise.
Yeah.
And me being me, a lot of the time I'm a very, very I'm a rule follower. So I was like, oh, well, then I'm not going to tell my family either. So my mum knew, and I was like, it's going to be a surprise. So we put on our group chat, watch Maori Television, all of my friends. And, yeah, that's how they all found out. Some of them were happy. Some of them were like, why didn't you tell me? But, yeah, so it was crazy getting that huge response. Yeah, and social media, it can be a difficult thing to navigate, just with that open space for everyone to share their opinions. So that was definitely something that I had to learn to deal with.
Yeah.
But I had lots of support. My mum, amazing support system for me. And then leading up to it all, it was crazy, just all of the interviews, the media. I loved it all, meeting all these new people. And then the week of release, we went to schools, we went to kura to kind of talk to them about it and all of that stuff. And that was awesome just to see how excited the kids were.
Yeah, hard out.
And then it reminds you why you did what you did. And yeah, just an amazing, amazing opportunity. Yeah.
Man, yeah. I couldn't agree more. Like, when you do all of these things in your life, like, especially when it's something as big as that, and then you see like how young Maori kids react, and you see yourself in them, and you're like,
yeah,
man, like what a privilege this is, like to do the mahi that we do as creators. Absolutely. And like heaps of stuff you're saying is like I feel like you're saying like my story too. Like for me, like I'm an introvert, but I can act like an extrovert when I need to.
Yeah.
But I would like, that's part of the reason I'm loving isolation, because I like to just be at home.
Yeah, same.
And like how you were saying too before, like you feel like comfortable, and like, like from the outside it looks like you're not an introvert, but it's like just because you're comfortable at home and all that.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with that, and I vibe with that. And moving on to like after Moana and all that, like before, or like, did you want to, like before even getting into Moana and all that, was that like something that you had dreamed of doing?
Yeah, so I have always, because I have such a crazy personality at home, I really wanted to show that to who I really am to everybody. Before it, I was really interested in being like on a television show or in a movie, anything. So this opportunity, I think it was placed in my path for a reason. And that's why I had to take the opportunity. I think I'm old enough now, just do it and see what happens. And yeah, I think definitely now as well, after it, I still really want to do something in that career path as well as my music as well, but just focusing on my music at the moment.
Yeah, hard out. So you're in Wellington now, and did you say you were studying down there?
Yep. I study a Bachelor of Commercial Music, and I major in technology. So that's, I always like to say when I'm explaining to people kind of the behind the scenes of the music. Yeah. So I'm doing a lot of sound engineering, recording artists in the studio, and then mixing using those huge consoles.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Sometimes it's overwhelming with these thousands of buttons looking at you.
Yeah.
But I'm learning, so that's okay. We learned a bit of lighting, a little bit of live mixing. So yeah, the reason why I decided that over majoring in practice, which is the performing side, is just that after this, I want to utilize all of these resources, all of these things I learned to do my own music. So that's why I'm in my second year at the moment, and next year will be my last year.
Man, I like that you have a plan for it all, because there are a lot of young people who go to university after kura, and a lot of them really ain't 100% on why they're studying what they're studying. And, like, was your mum like a big help in that, or was it just doing that whole Moana experience that made you realize, I want to do this part of music instead of the performance part?
So when we recorded and they were doing the editing, I would sit in and just watch the fella. The editor, his name was Jaedyn, And I just ask them a few questions, being sure not to be annoying.
Yeah.
Is that button? What are you doing? You know, and I think just sitting in and watching really fueled that passion to want to do that. And definitely my mum, a big help. She knew that I was really enjoying that and I was interested in that. And so she thought, oh, why not? And then another person was Rob. He actually told me about the course and said that the technology will be really good to be able to learn the behind the scenes and so that I can do my own one day. So, yeah, it's a whole lot of people that kind of inspired that. And I'm grateful for all of those inputs. Yeah.
Yeah, hard out. Like, I relate to the part where you don't want to be annoying, because I'm the person who always wants to ask 100 questions, but at the same time you're just like, oh, I don't want to bloody piss them off and just be the person who's just like, stop asking all these questions, man. You know, just my money. And I think that's cool that you're doing that and that you're thinking about reasons why you're doing it and how it can apply to your like future and that. And for you, like, what is your like dream mahi?
I want to be a music artist. I want to be an international music artist, so someone who's known around the world for their music and travels and tours around the world with it. I want to eventually be a mentor when I feel like I have enough experience.
You'll get there.
Yeah. Another goal of mine is to one day open up my own recording studio that provides mentorship for rangatahi, because as a young kid I kind of know how difficult it is to kind of access and know where to go to get what you need to become a musician or so I want to do that. And maybe I want to be in some movies or TV shows or something like that.
Yeah.
I think right now those are my overall dreams.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that's always good to have, eh? And like I just wanted to pick your brain because I know, like growing up, we were lucky, like with my parents, and my dad always made us think about what we wanted to do when we grew up. Yep. And I know that that's not like a super common thing, like among everybody, especially like, among Maori, it's sort of their thing. Like you just grow up, get a job and, pay the bills, not really dream or dream big. And was that something that was instilled in your fellas whare, like dreaming or having aspirations and all that?
Yeah, definitely. My mum taught me that, we believe that hard work and goal setting are the backbones to success. And she instilled that within me at a very, very young age. I remember sitting in my room, being so young, already writing my goals.
Man.
Yeah, so when I was young, Mum, I want to say made me, but she didn't, because I was willingly doing it. But she encouraged me to write down goals. It started as 5 goals a year. And then if I want to add on more, that's fine, but 5 minimum. And now I don't have my book here, but I think I have like 50 little goals.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah. So definitely, my mum really instilled that within me at a young age, and still nurtures that and encourages that now.
Man, that's like just having that knowledge, like of goal setting, like you're already at a huge advantage because you know what direction you want to go in at least. And then that all the mahi that you do, like how you're talking about hard work, that it's being channeled towards the place that you want to be. So I think that's amazing and think that's cool. And I think like what you're doing, like sharing all your stuff online and like of who you are, because what I've come to learn, especially over the last few years, was the thing that works long term is just being yourself, being who you are, talking how you talk, laughing at what you laugh at, all those sort of things. And then the people who come along on the journey and follow you and, enjoy what you put out there, other people that it's for. Hey,
yeah, exactly.
And like having those goals just gives you like that direction, like I said. So for me, like there was a point, I don't know if it was just this year, but I was talking about like my dream life, and that's like that balance between like mahi and like home life. And away from all like your music and all of those sort of things, what do you enjoy doing?
I like eating.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. I just like spending time with my family. I like winding down. I like watching Netflix. I love movies.
Oh yeah, same here.
Yep. I love watching movies. I don't know. I just think overall, just spending quality time with my family and getting to know them and their goals and stuff, because it's really inspiring hearing what other people want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of it. Probably just movies.
Yeah.
And eating popcorn and chocolate. Chocolate's my favorite food. So,
what's your favorite movie?
I got asked this morning. I can't decide. I have heaps. I like animation the most, so I like Brother Bear.
Oh, yes. There's not.
Yeah.
I'm surprised how many people haven't seen that movie.
I know. Brother Bear is really good. I like Princess and the Frog as well. And there was one other one. Hairspray.
Hairspray. Oh, like the original or like the remake one?
The original one.
Oh yeah, with who was it? What was It was, what's his name? Who was the mum? But it was a man dressed as a lady.
Oh, John Walter. Is that it? No.
Who was the John? Oh, and Ricki Lake was the original one, eh?
I have no idea.
Oh yeah, because there was like an old as one. And do you remember? I don't know if you remember Ricki Lake, but when I was a kid, Ricki Lake was like Ellen. So you know.
Oh
yeah. Well, Ricki Lake was the one when I was a kid, and she was Tracy Turnblade on the original. The original one. I thought that was just a random ass funny thing.
Yeah.
And like I say, like what you do like outside of it, because you know, when you become, like when you're creative and you get known for your creativity, I think people just start just seeing you as that person, and they don't think about like all the stuff you do outside. And I don't think people realize how much all of that other stuff affects and contributes to what you do.
Yeah.
There's your mahi and like your hobby or whatever. So I think that's cool. I think we are pretty much like talked about anything, and if there was anything that you wanted to talk about or that you wanted to bring up that we hadn't already covered.
No, I think we covered it.
And like this is the first time like me talking to someone really like having a proper conversation with, because you said you're 18, eh? Yeah, this is the first time like really having a conversation like this with an 18-year-old, because most of the time I talk with people either my age or like a bit older. So like props to you and thank you to you for even jumping in this space, because I know it's not a common space to jump in for like an 18-year-old. Like I remember when I was 18, like I just wanted to drink. Like typical 18-year-old. But anyway, in this podcast, like what I've done for this podcast to make it really cater to creative people is with every guest that I get on is to get 3 practical tips of advice from each guest. So from you to everybody listening, and you just speak from your experience. That's all I can ask. What are 3 tips you would give to anybody who wants to pursue the career of music, and also like the career of like getting into voice acting or film or being an audio engineer, like that sort of space that you're in? So 3 tips.
Okay. I think the first one would probably be just take every opportunity that comes in your path. I think that's really important, because you never know what might come from it or what door might open after that. So definitely take every opportunity you can. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Even if you feel like you're annoying, just do it. Because you never know who's out there who's really, really willing to help you, and what you'll learn from just a simple question. And thirdly, just probably stay true to who you are. Remember who you are. Remember who you're doing it for. why you're doing it. Remember those who got you to where you are. I think
that's yeah, those are perfect pieces of advice. Amazing advice. And I agree with all of those 100%. So, where can everybody find you? Like, where are you on social media? Do you have a website? This is a time for you to just plug where you are and what you're up to.
Oh, cool. Thank you. So I am on Instagram mostly. That's at Jaedyn Randell. I have a YouTube channel where I post every fortnight on a Sunday singing videos.
That's cool.
That's Jaedyn Randell also. And I have a Facebook, Jaedyn Randell.
Cool. Thank you for that. Everybody listening, thank you for tuning in. Super, super privileged to have Jaedyn Randell on our show. I hope you fellas took away some valuable advice. I definitely did. And if you can relate to this and you know someone who can relate to this as well, be sure to tag them in this. Be sure to share with them, because one thing that I believe in is knowledge is to be shared, not kept. So any knowledge that was shared in this kōrero, please share it around so we can all benefit from it. So my name's Te Haunui Tuna. This is Creative Curiosity. Thank you.